My name is Cassandra Wilson, though everyone calls me Cassie. I'm 34 years old, and last Tuesday, everything in my life shifted the moment I checked my lottery ticket and realized I had won $47 million. My hands trembled as I stared at the 6 numbers, perfectly matching. Once the shock settled, a strange thought hit me. I wouldn't tell a soul about this win. My family history with money was complicated, and I knew this could become a disaster. If you're watching this, leave a comment to let me know where you're tuning in from. Before I dive into this life-changing decision, hit like and subscribe for more real-life stories about family loyalty and betrayal that might change how you view your own relationships. Before that Tuesday, my life was painfully ordinary. I worked as an accountant at a small marketing firm in Portland, earning just enough to live comfortably, though never truly feeling secure. My apartment was modest, located on the edge of a city, nothing fancy, but it was mine. Every morning, I'd wake at 6 a.m., brew my coffee, and start my day with the constant anxiety of bills and deadlines looming. Work was demanding, often 60-hour weeks, especially during tax season. Family life was complicated. My parents, Gregory and Diane Wilson, divorced when I was 14, and both remarried within 2 years. My father, a high school physics teacher, married Stephanie, a real estate agent with expensive tastes and an even pricier lifestyle. My mother, Diane, married Warren, a successful business owner who controlled every penny tightly. I have 2 siblings. My younger sister, Lisa, 30, always the golden child, Ivy League graduate, married to a surgeon, living in a luxurious suburban home with their 2 perfect children. Then my older brother, Jason, 36, charming but directionless, bouncing between jobs and relationships, mastering the art of borrowing money from family and never returning it. Extended family was just as messy. Aunt Martha, my mother's younger sister, was the only genuinely kind soul. Living paycheck to paycheck as an elementary school teacher, she always found a way to show up when needed. She drove an old, noisy Honda, lived in a small apartment full of books and plants, and never complained. In contrast, Aunt Heather, my father's older sister, married wealthy, never letting anyone forget it. Holidays with her meant judgmental remarks and critiques about my career, apartment, and perpetual single status. Her son, Ryan, inherited her entitlement but none of her financial success and struggle with gambling, which everyone pretended not to notice. My past experiences with family finances left me bitter. When Jason needed $5,000 for rehab 3 years ago, I emptied my savings only to learn he never went. When Lisa needed $2,000 for her wedding, I put it on my credit card with her promise to repay. 5 years later, I was still waiting. And when my father needed funds to fix his roof, I sent what I could, only to see him vacationing in Cancun the next month. The only person who knew the full extent of these betrayals was my best friend Charlotte. She had been my constant since college, a nurse who understood struggle, never judged me, and reminded me not everyone was out to exploit me. Work wasn't much better. My boss, Arnold, habitually took credit for my ideas during client meetings, and my colleague Derek often left early, leaving me to finish his work while somehow gaining recognition. Despite this, I stayed diligent, hoping one day it would pay off. My weekly indulgence was buying lottery tickets. Every Friday, I spent $10 at the corner store. My family teased me relentlessly. My mother called it a tax on those who couldn't do math, my brother joked I should hand in the money instead, and my father lectured me on probability. I had dreams, traveling beyond the Pacific Northwest, going back to school, saving enough to avoid financial panic, but they always felt distant as I approached my mid-30s, still repaying student loans and managing persistent credit card debt. Life was a careful balance of bills, groceries, and occasional dinners with Charlotte. I drove a 10-year-old Corolla that groaned when it rained, mastered the art of looking fine while constantly calculating costs in my head and inventing excuses to decline invitations. Then came my 34th birthday, the day I bought the winning ticket. I had just survived a brutal week at work, where Arnold took credit for saving a major client thousands of dollars. At Gus's corner store, I spent $20 instead of my usual $10, joking with him about a birthday splurge. This time, I chose my own numbers. My birthday, my parents' birthdays, Martha's, and Charlotte's. 6 numbers representing the people who mattered most. even those who had let me down. That night, with Thai takeout and wine from Charlotte, I casually checked the lottery. 3, 16, 12, 21, 9:30. Every number matched. I could hardly believe it. I had won $47 million, about $28 million after taxes. I didn't sleep that night. I read stories of lottery winners who had lost everything. Family conflicts, friends suddenly appearing with sob stories, bankruptcies. I decided I would claim the money, but tell no one. Not my family, not Charlotte, not even my siblings, at least not immediately. I needed time to plan. I contacted Philip Montgomery, a financial lawyer who helped me set up a blind trust and investment plan to keep my identity private. Over the next 2 weeks, I established everything: the trust, investment accounts, a plan to manage my newfound wealth without disrupting my ordinary life. My day-to-day routine didn't change. I still went to work, drove my old Corolla, and complained about bills. Then I devised a plan to test my family's character. I would ask each for financial help under the guise of losing my job. Only by seeing their reactions could I determine who genuinely cared. I prepared my story carefully, practiced with Charlotte, and listed everyone to approach: my parents, siblings, step-parents, aunts, and cousin Ryan. The results were painful but revealing. My mother, father, sister, step-parents, and cousin offered excuses, avoided responsibility, or ignored me. Only Aunt Martha, with the least to give, offered help generously. $3,000 of her own savings, almost everything she could spare, plus an offer to let me stay at her place if needed. I then revealed the truth to Martha. I hadn't lost my job, and I had actually won the lottery. Her response: pure understanding and joy for me, with no demands or conditions. Inspired by her generosity, I set up trusts for her medical care and comfortable retirement and planned a modest house nearby. Over the next year, I moved into a charming home near Martha's. I started a nonprofit helping elderly people living alone, focusing on those estranged from family. Charlotte joined as outreach coordinator, and our weekly wine nights continued. My family remained at a distance, unaware of my wealth, but the truth about loyalty and love had been revealed. It's not who is there when you have everything to give, but who stays when you have nothing but yourself. The lottery changed my life, yes, but not in the way I feared. It gave me clarity, freedom, and the courage to define relationships on my terms. And for that, I am truly rich.